Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. The most miserable search is the search for happiness. And this is the only search for what every one of us is doing or undoing something. What is doing? Getting married is doing. And what is undoing? Getting divorced is undoing. The purpose is only happiness. Now this happiness that we are seeking, what kind of happiness this is? And what kind of happiness we are seeking? This is the theme in the remaining part of this 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. We have completed half of it last time. The teacher says, Sukham tvidanim vividham shrunume bharatarshava abhyasad ramate yatra dukkhantam cha nigacchati jattadagre vishamiva pariname amrutopamam tat sukham satvikam proktam atma buddhi prasadaya. There are three kinds of happinesses dependent on the three modes. The first one is relatively the best. And what is that? The teacher says first, Abhyasad ramate yatra dukkhantam cha nigacchati. Whenever we do anything repeatedly, again and again, we start developing a kind of adjustment in our system, and then that we start liking. Abhyasad ramate. And that kind of happiness is agre visham iva. Initially it is not very comfortable. Like you must have seen the children, when they are told to study, they don't like studies. But if they get into it, then nobody can stop them. So initially, in the beginning, it is like poison. The same thing happens on our so-called spiritual life. What is spirituality? Making us miserable is spirituality. How? Get up early in the morning. The first googly. All the Mahatmas, they are enemies, isn't it? They themselves don't get sleep. They don't allow us to sleep. So, the first thing. And then, you should sit quiet in one posture. Another impossibility. And the worst thing is, keep your mind quiet. This the teacher says, he keeps quiet and we are suffering inside. Isn't it? No, but my mind runs here and there. What should I do? Be a witnessing consciousness. Another tragedy. The more you try to be witnessing consciousness, everybody witnesses your tragedy. Isn't it? But if you start with the right beginning, with the right understanding, so, agre visham iva. Initially, it's very torturous. But pariname, if you do it systematically, sincerely, methodically, you come to a state wherein you no more struggle in life. See, the other day somebody asked me, Swamiji, I want to be the greatest devotee of Lord. Like Mirabai was there. So I said, excuse me, you cannot be the devotee like Mirabai. Why? She was a woman and you are a man. Okay. Then like Surdas ji, I said, no, he didn't have any glasses. You have got double glasses. Anyway, I want to be a devotee. How can I be the best devotee of the Lord? I said, I will tell you, but you will not agree. This also I tell you. Because you will not understand what I am telling you. What is that? I said, be happy and continue to be happy. That is the highest devotion. How it can be devotion? I said, are you devoted to me? He said, yes. Then if you are happy, how there is devotion for me? Do you know? There will be one less miserable fellow coming to me. That is the highest devotion. If we go to the Lord and start complaining and crying non-stop, he is already fed up. Not a single person goes to him. Oh Lord, how are you? With 16,100, still they are troubling you. Nobody asks this question. Therefore, when you start your spiritual practice, don't give up. Initially, it is troublesome. So what is that we have to do? I'll just tell you in short, it will come in this chapter. And what I am telling is very simple, therefore very difficult to do. Learn to sit quiet wherever you are, at least for 5-10 minutes, without doing anything and without giving importance to anything. Like what? Like now you are sitting. Do you think you give importance to what I talk? So you are all doing highest meditation. I keep on talking, nothing touches you. This is called as witnessing consciousness. I can't give a better direct explanation and example than your own experience. Try this. We don't have to participate in everything in this world. Just stand apart. Start slowly. 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 10 minutes. And all the spiritual practices going away from the movement to the absence of the movement. Movement is uncomfortable existence. And freedom from the movement is the ultimate. Therefore, knowingly, unknowingly, we all imagine. Meditation means what? Sit quiet. And majority of the fools get lost in this. Sitting quiet. Or do the japa. Kabirji says, the mala moves in the hand, the tongue moves in the mouth, and the maniram runs around the whole world. Ye subudana na hoy. So, going away from the change and coming to the changeless is the ultimate spiritual practice. So when you start agre visham iva, it's extremely difficult, like poison. But pariname amrutopamam. Just imagine you come home and whatever you tell to your wife, she listens. Just imagine, huh? You can only imagine. I know. I have got all the sympathy. So, what a joy it will be. One step further, you go and tell something to your children. and the children listen. What a joy it is. Go one step further. You tell anything to your mind and the mind listens. You tell your mind, now for next half an hour or 1 hour, I am not going to move physically from this posture. Acha, suru. See, just imagine what a joy it will be if all your faculties, mind, intellect, senses, everything is under perfect control. You know what will happen? You would have attained 6 sigma perfection. Do you know 6 sigma perfection? 6 sigma perfection is available in this world only in 2 places. One is the landing of the aeroplane, and second is Bombay ka dabba wala. 2 places. Perfection. That life, when you attain, then amrutopamam. Therefore, spiritual practice initially will do, see what is given here. Initially it is difficult, but don't give up. Continue. You know what normally happens? We go somewhere, hear something and start doing, and next day we come to the teacher. Sir, how many days it will take for me to realize? Realize what? Now you tell me. To realize that you are a fool, it will take many lives. I don't want to know that. I already know. How do you know? Because I have come to you. Whenever we are functioning on a spiritual path with a time frame, we are far away from the truth. More than the time required, what is important is the intensity of longing. That is more important. How intensely we long to know the truth. Therefore, instead of struggling, how much time, have patience, keep on doing what you are told. So what you are told, be happy. By this we are becoming more miserable. Okay. Parname amritopamam tat sukham satvikam. Now where from this happiness comes? When we practice all our spiritual discipline, where from the happiness comes? Does it come from outside? No. Atma buddhi prasadajam. Now this is another very important thing. Atma buddhi prasadajam means what? We are the source of happiness if our mind is undisturbed and quiet. Disturbed mind is misery. Undisturbed mind is happiness. In the deep sleep, our mind is absolutely undisturbed. Therefore, all happiness. See, at this moment, now all of you, when the mind is undisturbed, this experience is called as sattvic happiness. But what we do, to create the disturbances and noise, we spend money and then complain, I don't know, I am very disturbed. I have seen in Lonavala where I stay, there is a small place, one small kutia. There is one labor who is staying. After his day's work is done, he comes to his room. The first thing that he does, start his radio, that transistor. Whether it is a Marathi or a Gujarati or a Punjabi or a Hindi, it doesn't matter for him. He switches it on. And then he goes and washes his clothes and goes here, there cleaning, jhadu and all that. And that noise is going on for the national welfare. So I asked him one day, I said, are you listening? He said, no. Then why do you do that? I also don't know. But I like, when there is something going on. We just can't stand silence, aloneness. The real happiness is this happiness when our mind is not dependent on any external source. This freedom from dependence is the happiness of the highest order, sattvic. So, Atma Buddhi Prasadajam. Now, the second type of happiness, which is very much known to us. Vishayendriya Sanyogad Yat Tadagre Amrutopamam Pariname Vishamivam Tatsukham Rajasam Srutam. The second kind of happiness that we go and get is, for every 5 minutes delay, 10 rupees cut. Order pizza. Isn't it? Vishaya Indriya Sanyogad. When our senses and the respective sense objects, when they come together, there is a flicker of happiness. Initially. Pariname, and the end result is Visham Iva, like a poison. Now see all those people, take one or two examples. Those who are interested in Andhra pickles, when they take the Andhra pickle, goes on, and then it starts burning at both ends. And then you start suffering. I think, I should not have taken it. Pariname Visham Iva. Similarly, we get involved indulging in too many things. Either watching the TV or playing anything. And the result is, we suffer regret later. So this happiness, which initially gives us a kick, isn't it? This is how the liquid spirituality begins. So, agre amrutopamam, you just take one sip and then you will understand. And slowly, afterward, only the hang up, and that's it. So, pariname visham iva, like a poison toward the end, this is called as the rajasic sukha. Now see what happens. What is the poison? Poison is, dependence is misery. Independence is happiness. Very simple thing. When we indulge with the things in this world, we become the slaves. How we become the slaves? I'll just give an example. One person goes to a college, young boy, and he is ragged because of the modern requirement. And then, in that ragging, he is asked, have you ever smoked? No. Everyone makes a fun of him. And then he starts smoking. He starts abhyas. And he goes to the bathroom with the whole packet and a matchbox and starts. First time when he smokes, the smoke starts coming out from the mouth, from the nose, from the eyes, from the ears, from everywhere. And slowly, second cigarette with the experience of one cigarette. Third cigarette with the experience of 2 cigarettes smoking. Nth cigarette with the experience of n-1 number of cigarette smokings. And as n approaches infinity, n is equal to n-1. And when n-1 is equal to 1 happens, then we stop smoking the cigarette starts smoking us. And then we just cannot do anything. This is called as, initially we enjoy, afterwards we become the slaves. Pariname visham iva tat sukham rajasam srutam. Now the third one is the kind of sukha which majority of the people like. Yadagre chanubandhe cha sukham mohanamatmanaha. The happiness of self-delusion, we fooling ourselves. The highest deception that we practice is deceiving ourselves. What is that? Under three conditions. Nidra, alasya, pramadotham. We imagine prosperity means sleeping up to 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Why? Over prosperous. So who will be the most prosperous one? The python. All the time sleeping. Nidra. Second, alasya, laziness of the highest order. See our laziness. We take the remote to change the channel of the TV. Who will every time get up and come now? And then for exercise, we will sit in the car, drive a distance, and then walk, and again sit in the car and come back. What? Doing exercise. On the contrary, if you discard laziness from your life, all the additional exercises are not required. See, life becomes an exertion if we take the daily duties as a burden. On the contrary, if we give up laziness, this is the biggest enemy. There is one book I remember, very beautiful book, and the title of the book is like a big paragraph. All that we know, need to know, is all that we studied in our kindergarten. This is the title of the book. Normally when you take any book title, you just go, isn't it? We see in the back side. So there is written, start reading from the first page. And is it not very true? Early to bed and early to rise is the way to be healthy, wealthy and wise. This we have learned all the time during our childhood. Now see at our own life. Therefore, these are the three enemies. First is excessive sleep. Second is this laziness of the highest order. Now, about this laziness, I tell you. There is one Amma who comes and spends time with me. When she comes, she will be whole day working with something or the other. She will be taking out all the bed sheets and wash. Sometimes she will take out all the old clothes, put them in the sun. Sometimes she will take out the mattresses and the blankets and everything put there. Every day something or the other she is doing. So one day hardly talking anything. One day I asked just casually, I observed a fun. I said, Amma, our house from outside, it is looking dusty, I think. It needs to be washed with soap. And then I went for my lecture in Lonavala. And when I came back, this lady tying down herself and with somewhere got something from, some staircase kind of ladder, and with the water everywhere and the soap and I said, Amma, are you getting mad or what? She said, Swamiji, what you told was right. It was so dirty, see how much it is coming. Then, when she came down, I asked, Mama, what do you get? How do you all do all these things? She gave me the highest wisdom. She said, Swamiji, have you loved anybody? I said, never. That mistake I have not done. So she said, because I love you, I work for you. And therefore, this is not a load or a burden for me. One principle. Second principle. When I work like this for the whole day, doing something or the other, do you know what I get in my life? The best gift that you give me, the moment I come on my bed, I sleep like a wooden log. A person who can have a very good sleep at night, he is a really richest person in the world. For us, we require a pill or a pillow. No? So if the pill doesn't work, the pillow doesn't work, then pillow. Do we call that as a life? So, nidra, alasya, and then pramada. What is pramada? Pramada is what we are supposed to do, that we don't do, and what we are not supposed to do, that we do. Pramada. And not only that, we are very proud of it. The other day, I won't name you the name and the place and the person. I went to somebody's place. It was about 11:30, 12 o'clock. And that girl must be about 22, 23. She was still sleeping. So, this happened in India only, Bombay. So, I said, hey mama, what happened to your daughter? She is not well or what? 12 o'clock is not the time to sleep. She said, no Swamiji, you know what happens these days, our girls, they have to remain in the society. So she goes for the disco dance party, maybe at about 12 o'clock, 12:30. And by the time they come, poor girls, they are tired. It is 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Now how do you expect them to get up? See? Now this is a standard in a society where they are supposed to live like this. This is called as pramad. And this is, we imagine, is a freedom. This is American freedom. It's not the real freedom. Therefore, nidra alasya pramada. By this mohanamatmanaha, we are deceiving ourselves. And that is called as the tamasic sukham. The happiness is only an illusion. The whole life is wasted only in these pursuits. Now these are the three things, these are the three methods by which we are trying to seek happiness in our life. Now, these three methods, sattvic, rajasic, tamasic, न तदस्ति पृथिव्यां वा दिवि देवेषु वा पुनः सत्वं प्रकृतिजैर्मुक्तं यदि भी स्यात् त्रिभिर्गुणैः. Now the whole humanity can be looked upon. Why the humanity? Everything in this world, every being, including animals, they are under the influence of these three gunas, sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. Sattva guna is knowledge predominant oriented lifestyle. Like all of you are coming over here, you belong to this category where knowledge is a primary factor in your life. Those who do not have knowledge as a primary factor in your life, you will never come and sit in satsang. Not possible. The second one is those who are having activity as a predominant aspect of their life. If there is a lot of things to be done, run here, run there, call this fellow, call that fellow, and big yajna and kunda and this program and that program, and go and get somebody, and hoo-ha. Such people just can't sit quiet and listen in satsang. Everything they will do, sincerely. That is the rajasic type of orientation. The third one is, they are only like the government servants. Do this thing, get the salary. No creativity, no nothing, just a burden to everybody. Three gunas. Now, on the basis of this, the humanity is classified. And this is one topic, because of which many bad things are happening in our country. Which are those? Brahmana Kshatriya Visham Shudranancha Parantapa Karmani Pravibhaktani Swabhava Prabhavayat Gunaihi. On the basis of the predominance of these three gunas, humanity is classified under these four classes: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. This is a very important topic. Please understand. If we want to study, let us say, animal kingdom, scientifically, how we will study? We will classify. Animals can be classified into two: vertebrates, non-vertebrates. Among vertebrates, again, that there are mammals, then there are amphibians, then reptiles. And in this manner, you go on classifying. Now, when you classify, do you condemn somebody? See? Suppose we are all sitting over here and we want to know who are all here. So what we will do? We will classify the total population. First, there are some gents, there are some ladies. Now when we say there are some gents, there are some ladies, do we mean we are condemning the ladies? Do we mean that we are glorifying the gents? No. Further, we will say there are some educated, there are some overeducated. See, just a classification. When we say there are some young, there are some old, these are different classes, that's it. In the same manner, based on the predominance of these three gunas, humanity is classified under these four heads. The first head is called as Brahmana. Now, who is a Brahmana? Brahmana is the one who has predominant sattva guna in his makeup, supported by some part of rajoguna, and tamoguna is almost nil. Now the second combination possible: prominent rajoguna activity and more of sattva and less of tamas. Such is called as a kshatriya, who is dynamic but living for the totality. Leader class. Now the third one. The third one is the Vaishya class. A lot of activity, a lot of dynamism, but not for the world, but for the selfishness. This is the Vaishya class, the third kind of category. And the fourth one, a lot of tamoguna, a little bit of rajoguna, and forget about sattva-guna. See? Now, if humanity is classified on the basis of this, does it mean that we are condemning somebody or appreciating somebody? No. And if you look in our own personality, all these four things are clearly available. Our head is Brahmanosya Mukhamasit. Our head is the Brahmin. All knowledge. Isn't it? We don't say, let me think. We don't say. We don't say kidney. Do you remember that? There was one school, and in that school, the teacher told, hey, come on, I want to see who of you are really intelligent. I'll tell you only once. Be attentive. And she told, this is called as small finger, ring finger, middle finger, index finger, thumb, palm, wrist, the lower arm, the elbow, the upper arm, everything. Clear? Now tell. The student started telling. The thumb, the shoulder, the palm. Wrong. One by one, everybody said wrong. One child told exactly. The teacher was happy. Hey, how do you know so well? Kidney. No. So all what he knew, God. So Brahmanosya mukhamasit. The Brahmin is in the head. Then Bahu Rajanya Kritaha. Our hands are the Kshatriya. And bank balance is the Vaishya. Isn't it? And the legs are the Shudra. Now can we say that the legs are being given a very wrong treatment? They have to walk. Let the head walk. This kind of tragic understanding of the society is such a terrible political disaster that today what we have in our country, the highest level of corruption, the highest level of inefficiency is only because of this. There is no other reason. When the unqualified, undeserving people are kept in a place where they don't deserve to be, they can only create disaster. See, it's extremely necessary. There is no reason. There is no logic behind it. Therefore, when it is said, Brahmana Kshatriya Visham Shudranam ke Parantapa, Karmani Pravibhaktani Swabhava Prabhavai Gunehi. Swabhava. We are all born with these basic instincts. Somebody is right from the childhood knowledge oriented. Somebody is right from the childhood is a kind of leadership oriented. And this is a natural for all of us. It is better that we follow our natural inclinations and grow spiritually. Therefore, Swabhava Prabhavai Gune and Karmani Pravibhaktani. Depending on that, this humanity is assigned different types of activities. Like, last time I told you, this happened in IIT Powai, long time back. One student came after my talk and in a canteen the talk was organized. After everything was over, I don't know why I asked him, hey, some problem with you? He said, yes. What is that problem? Then he said, I feel totally neglected. I feel sorted out. And I am not understanding what they are teaching. Therefore, I am losing my self-confidence and I am feeling very depressed. So what I should do? Then I asked him, which gate you have entered the IIT? Front gate or a back gate? Kota or a straight? Swamiji, I have come through Kota. When you fix the Kota stone on the ceiling, you are going to be hurt. Both the stone and the... What's with you? That is not the right way. Therefore, another example I'll give you. One, person, he is a watchman or a kind of a Mali. And staying in a small campus, and all children of the same age group, they play. So when you are playing in the evening time to destroy your time, you come together, play gilli danda or play cricket or play volleyball. That time you don't require any grey matter. On the contrary, you don't require. So you go and spend half an hour, 1 hour. Now that boy, he was so much forced by his father. Look at other children, how they are becoming first and merit, and you are doing nothing. And the child was under such a terrible force that when the 10th standard examination came, he ran away from the home. Then the father disgusted. And then He came to me, Swami, what I should do? I said, do nothing, wait. Tell the police and he will come back. Have patience. In 3-4 days he should come back. Where will he go? And he came back after 3-4 days. Then I told him, I said, now don't talk one word to him. And just as if nothing has happened. And then that boy came and met me and he said, Swamiji, Daddy doesn't understand. He wants me to compete with those students. They are so brilliant and so bright. But my father doesn't. He wants me to become to study equivalent to come in the merit. I cannot. What can I do? Then I called that watchman or whosoever he was. I said, look here. Don't compare your child and his performance with the performance of the child of the director. Your director is highly qualified. He is an IAS. His wife, she is also IAS. Both of them are genius, intelligent. Now you don't compare your child with that child. Because children are children doesn't mean you can put the horse and the donkey in the same line. No. They are animals, not horse and donkey. They are separate. But when we don't understand this basic principle, we go on telling that somebody is being favored and somebody is being not favored. No. Therefore, the classification of humanity on the basis of this, karmani pravibhaktani. Now, don't we see in our total society, there is intelligent class, then there is a dynamic class, leader class, then there is the trader class who are producing and misappropriating the wealth, and the fourth one is the government servants. See? So, these four are Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Now, pravibhaktani svabhava prabhave gunaih. Now see the signs of a Brahmin. Signs of a Brahmin is shamo damas tapas shaucham kshantirarjavamemacha jnanam vijnanamastikyam brahma karma svabhavajam. The one who is oriented in knowledge, he is having shamaha. His mind is naturally quiet. And such a person is able to study and understand in one go. See how many of us are able to understand. You take any book and read, and in one reading you have understood the complete concept. Not everybody. See? Because that requires a faculty called as calm mind, shamaha. Then, damaha, self-control. You go to Varanasi or the traditional places where they teach the scriptures. Even in our Anandi, there is one place where I go regularly. There small children are taught Shukla Yajurveda. It's a complete institution. And there the children are selected by a proper parentage, and some examination is also given, and those children are selected, small, from the age of 5, 6, 7 onwards. And see the discipline that they are able to go through. The children are able to sit in one posture, they will not be running here and there. They are told to chant, so they will sit and start chanting, Om Sahasra Shirsha Puruha Sahasra. Very systematically. Everybody cannot do that. We require that faculty. So, shamaha, damaha, self-control. Then tapaha. Tapaha is the readiness to go through the difficulties for the sake of knowledge. This is called as tapas. Those who are not ready to go through the difficulties, if you want to study, you lack the basic trait called as the hunger for knowledge and thirst. So, shamo, dava, tapaha, then shaucham. Shaucha is purity, external purity and internal purity. See, you must have seen there are many people, what they do. One day one person was telling me, Swamiji, I like you very much because there is no problem when you come. I said, next time I'll come with the problem. He said, no, don't do that. I said, what is the problem? Last time that Mahatma Ji came and then the food has to be cooked only by such and such persons. In the kitchen nobody can go. Till he is there, in his room nobody can go, no ladies can enter, his clothes will be washed only by his person, and the whole house is as if it is in a quarantine. And we were just counting days, 7 days, 6 days, count down like a takeoff. Yours is very nice. To condemn is very easy. Try to live that life, how difficult it is. When you have decided to cook your food, when you have decided to wash your clothes, when you have decided not to take help from anybody, it requires tremendous strength. It is not everybody's job. That is called as tapas shaucham. Then kshanti. Kshanti is the readiness and the ability to forgive everybody and everything in this world. I tell you, without this kshanti, a person cannot be a good teacher. Like, we tell so many things that don't do this for the benefit of that person. And that person is sincerely dedicated and he will or she will rather do it again and again and again. And you go on telling, please don't do this. Hey, I won't do. And again do the same thing. A torturous experience. But there is no way. Kshanti. See, how we tackle these problems. When we are coming by a car, there was some professional beggar who must have been, made to beg by some kind of thing. So his hands were cut, the face is burned, and he comes like that. So when you look at a physically handicapped person, you feel sympathy, isn't it? If somebody is mentally handicapped, what can you do? Only tolerate and pray to the Lord. Oh Lord, how long my sadhana has to continue? See, kshanti, the readiness to forgive. Then arjavam, the straightforwardness. Straightforwardness is that wherein we do not deflect from the goal of our life. That is the meaning of straightforwardness. Straightforwardness doesn't mean being curt. No. Thereafter, arjavamevacha, then jnanam. Complete surrender at the feet of the knowledge. Unless we have recognized the importance of scriptural knowledge, we will never study. Many times this thing comes in our mind. What is there, unnecessarily going to Satsang, everything is in the book. Please remember one thing, which I must congratulate all of you, those who are sincerely, regularly listening. The real spiritual practice is, I am telling you from the reference of Tripura Rahasya. One of the very rare texts. Very few people tackle this. Very difficult text. There it is very clearly written. All of us suffer in this world because of our wrong notions. We have wrong notion about ourselves. We have wrong notion about the world. We have wrong notion about the God. We have wrong notion about the spiritual practice. See? And with these wrong notions carrying the burden on the head, we continue to practice all those wrong notions throughout our life. A stage comes when our wrong notions become so strong that we are unable to change ourselves. And what is spiritual practice? Spiritual practice is the ability and the readiness to change oneself. But all these wrong notions that we have developed, who can change us? Only one place, and that is Satsang. So when we go to the Satsang, all our wrong notions, slowly, they start getting sorted out. And when wrong notions are sorted out about ourselves, we imagine that we are the waker. Now this one example I'll give you. We dreamed so many times, never, a dream personality is formed. We have gone through waking experiences so many times. On what ground we create a waking personality? The dream experiences are gone through by the mind. The same mind is responsible for giving the waking experiences. One quality of the dream experiences is rejected as illusion. And the same mind giving you the experiences of the waking, it is considered as right. And we are wise. Yeah, our approach is like, Bhagwan Shankara writes in his commentary, is like what? Cooking half the chicken and leaving the half for giving the eggs. Is it not? Papa, Punya, Karma, Dharma, Swarga, Narak is done by whom? The dreamer? The waker. So the waker is that uncooked part of the chicken which is giving you the eggs of your next life. And all that you have done in the dream is cooked and eaten away. And we consider ourselves to be extremely intelligent. Therefore, Jnanam, when you go deeper into all these aspects about what is our correct identity, about what the world is in reality, about that God who is packing the Ayurvedic medicine and sending to me. Ayurvedic medicine is meant for torturing the patients. My understanding about all the medicines is totally different. Ayurvedic medicine is given and it is so bitter and so terrible. You take one dose. Next time to avoid the medicine, you say, I am all right now. See, I told you in one dose, yes. So all that Ayurvedic medicine is given only to me or what? Therefore, who is that God? Who am I? What the world is? What is the relationship? How the knowledge takes place? Now just few seconds. You are looking at this book. Now, where are you looking at the book? Inside you or outside you? See? Got into the forest. These are all the things worthy of knowing. Jnanam. And then, which Jnanam? After having known about everything, what is that? Guru Maharaj has told, Beta Shvetaketu Tattvamasi. You are that. Understood? Yes. What you understood? You are that, not me, not me, not that. Isn't it? This is the tragedy. Because all that we learn is only in an objective manner. One of the tragedy for all the educated people is their inability to drop objectivity associated with knowledge. Everything that we have known in this world is known as the anatma jnana, the objective understanding. Like when I understand this is a book, Now I understand this is a book is an objective understanding. That I am not the book. Now apply the same technique everywhere. Tattvamasi, that Paramatma you are, understood very clearly. I can teach anybody now that they are Paramatma. As regard I am concerned, I am the same miserable, useless fellow. Therefore, Jnanam Vijnanam. Vijnanam is the readiness and the ability to convert the knowledge into personal experience. And that requires a special quality of mind. It is not every Tom, Dick and Harry's business. Jnanam, Vijnanam. Then Astikyam. Astikya is, there are many meanings of this. One of the meaning is, Astikya means the recognition of the pure existence in and through every experience is possible only if we have reached up to a particular level of subtlety in our knowledge. Now I'll just give an example. This is a book, so is the existence. This is a mind, so is the existence. In short, everything is recognized by us as existing. Now, why these things become two, the book and the mic? Because there is an absence of book and the mic in between. So, what is there? There is book, there is mic, and what is in between? There is nothing. See, even the absence is recognized as existing. Now that which is present, even in the absence, is the truth. Astikyam. Therefore, one of the methods in Vijnana Bhairav, one of the most wonderful texts, Tantra Shastra, there one of the method is this. Contemplate on absence. There, that give this technique. When you sit quiet, then start taking part by part of your body. If you are sitting in cross-legged one, then now the toes are vanishing. Then the heels are vanishing. The calf muscles gone. Knees no more. Thighs finished. Slowly, you start deleting. Highlight and delete. Now, lower portion has gone. Then go a little up. Then the center portion, the abdominal part. Then the chest. Slowly, go up to the head. Delete everything. And experience that. Absence of your total body, what you have been holding on to. In that absence, where your complete body is deleted, what remains is the absolute truth. This is astikyam, asti bhavaha. If you go according to the traditional translation, it will mean Astika and Nastika. The technical translations are those who do not believe and accept the authority of the Vedas as the final authority, they are called as Nastik. And in that, all those religions and philosophies which do not accept the Vedas as the final authority, they are called as Nastik. So that will include everything. Whether you say Islam, whether you say Christianity, whether you say Jainism, whether you say Buddhism, because all of them do not accept Vedas as the final authority. This is traditional translation. But Astikya means this. When we are able to focus attention on this eternal existence, that is, Jnana Vijnanam Astikyam Brahma Karma Svabhavajam. This is the type of life which is naturally lived by a Brahmin. See, if we are living this life, then we are worthy of being labeled as Brahmin. And if only, like in Panchadashi, one topic comes. Whosoever knows all the four Vedas will be blessed with a flat in the Ambi Valley. So, one person goes, I know there are four Vedas, and by the way, my name is also Chaturvedi. Give me that flat. Only somebody's name is Chaturvedi doesn't mean he knows the Vedas. In the same manner, Brahma Karma Swabhavajam. If somebody only by brand, he is Agnihotri, but he doesn't know even how to light, that Kunda Agni. He knows only the biological Agnihotra. Dhumrapanam Chatagodanam Ekekash Ganga Snanam. There's only Agnihotra they know. No. Therefore, Brahma Karma Swabhavajam. These are the natural traits in a person who can be included in the classification of Brahmana. After we complete this, then the teacher will tell why we are discussing this. Second thing, Shauryam Tejo Dhrutir Daksham Yuddhecha Api Apalayanam Danamishwara Bhavascha Kshatram Karma Swabhavajam. Now second is Shauryam. Shauryam is the ability to bring out the best whenever it is required. Is called as Shaurya, a fighting spirit. Tejaha. Teja is the one when in his presence all the people around feel secured. That is called as Tejas. Dhrutihi. Dhruti is the ability of perseverance to continue with the undertaking in spite of all the tiredness and exhaustion. Is called as Dhruti. Then Daksha. Daksha is being alert and vigilant at every moment of life. See, if you are a warrior, being a Kshatriya, you can't put a board outside your tent on the battlefield. Lunch break. Can you imagine this? Wherein you are on the battlefield and 12 to 1 lunch break, like in our Mantralaya or wherever the government offices. In our offices there are no boards, isn't it? Lunch break. Because they are already broken for the whole day. They may be having a work break like this, not a lunch break. So, Daksha, always prepared, always alert, always ready, and always perfectly available. Daksha. Then, Yuddhecha api apalayanam. Kshatriya is the one who never runs away from the challenges of life. See, every one of us have got all these faculties, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. The only thing is, we should be able to select and click. But there where we fail. Thereafter, Yuddhecha api apalayanam, readiness to face all the challenges of life as they come. Then Danam. Danam is the readiness to share wealth, is called as Danam. And how the Danam is given? Not okay. Like you must have seen many old ladies, they go to these various Tirtha Kshetras. And when they go, they carry a big thaila, and in that thaila, there will be coins, change, 100 rupees, 10 naya paisa. And then they take it, take out the thaila and go on giving to the beggar. They are also sitting there in a queue. Tack, over. And then it goes in recycling. Then 1 rupee 90 paisa or 1 rupee 80 paisa, depending upon the market, prevailing. There also it is the, what do you call that, rates going up and down. And this is how Danam, Ishvara Bhava. giving something like the Lord has given us. Ishvara, Aishwarya, is the affluence with readiness to share is called as Aishwarya. Many of us got affluence, but we don't want to share with others. Ishvara bhavascha Kshatra karma svabhavajam. This is the natural inclination of these people who are born with the predominant Rajoguna and more of Sattva-guna. Then the third and the fourth, Krushi Gauraksha Vanijyam Vaishya Karma Svabhavajam. Krushi, agriculture, Gauraksha, looking after the cattle, and Vanijya, the trade. Meaning, all the business regarding the production or the adjustment of the wealth, trade, becomes the job of the Vaishya. Now you will see, we may agree, we may not agree. These people who are in the trade community, like I have got so many of them friends. Recently I was somewhere and the father is extremely genius. He has done his engineering and first from the IIT. And thereafter, after working here and there for maybe a year or two, he started his small little factory of making the wires. He is not interested in any job. He started in a small hatman kind of thing. He has got two sons, both of them another genius, gold medalist of IITs as well as the MBAs. Such genius intelligence. They also not joining any international firm, not joining any job. They also joined and slowly expanded their business. See, those who have got those genes of trade, Vaishyatva, they will never accept to be the servant of anybody. See, Vaishya, they produce or they trade wealth. Then Paricharyatmakam karma Shudrasyapi Sabhavajan. Paricharya means service. A government servant gets married to breed the next generation of government servants. So that it goes on from generation to generation, Last 25 generations we have been serving. Now, in all this, there is nothing wrong anywhere. I'll tell you, this Dasera, it just happened that I had to go somewhere in Lonavala, Khandala, and there is one temple, Vaghai Devi ka Mandir. जो old road है उस पर है वो. So we went there, and that day there is a huge jatra type of thing, a huge gathering, thousands and lakhs of people come. So when I went there, I got out from the car and I was walking that small footpath. I saw one old lady, very old, a typical Maharashtrian with a 9-yard, a big, kumkum on her head, and very old. The moment I saw her, I felt so good, and she was looking at me like this. So I went and I hugged her. I said, Amma, give me Ashirwad. She gave me Ashirwad. And she started firing in Marathi. He said, now I am 98. I have got 42 grandchildren and about some 10 or 12 sons, 3 or 4 daughters. All of them are married. Everybody is doing very well. I do not know how long that God wants me to live in this body. So cheerful and happy. No regrets. And I work in 3 Gujarati houses. And I get this much money now also. See? And her fulfillment is at this age of 95, 98, she is still working. See? It is not everybody's job. And the best part is, she is discovering fulfillment in that. No regrets. This is what is meant by these four classifications. The teacher says, Sve sve karmani abhirataha samsiddhim labhate naraha. Swakarma nirataha siddhim yatha vindati tashrunu. Now, Sve sve karmani abhirataha. Whatever is our natural inclination, either as a Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Now see what is most important. If we live our life imagining that our life is between the two positions of birth and death, there was nothing before, there is nothing hereafter, our life will never be lived scientifically. Then we will live like animals. Animals don't have that knowledge. That I existed earlier, I will continue to exist later. There it is only survival, that's it. But here our scriptures tell us that we existed earlier, we exist now, we continue to exist later. Therefore, get away out of this fear that this is the end of our life. Be very attentive. Then, what is the purpose for what we are in this world? Are we in this world only to indulge in the outer world like the animals live for? Are we in this world only to accumulate and make our children good for nothing? What is the purpose? Or we are in this world for some higher purpose of achieving higher goals such as the spiritual unfoldment. See, as regard physical structure is concerned, human form is the best. There cannot be any other improvement in this body structure than what the human beings have. If there is any possibility of further evolution, it can be only at the level of the psychic powers or the spiritual evolution. And for that, it is said that if we live in this world, we work in this world, but where is our attention? When our attention is in the field where we work, we are laborers. If our attention is on the mind while functioning in this world, after the work is over, then we are someone decent human beings. Therefore, here the teacher says, when we are functioning in this world, external gain and prosperity is not the real success in human life. See, the real success in the human life is not only external achievements. You will come across many elderly people. In their old age, they have nothing except open the old files and collect and re-evaluate the regrets. I should not have done that. Every day, the same window is open, the same file is open, the same old things. Is there something more in life except regrets? Or constant dependence on others? Or constant expectation from everything and everybody in this world? Or all the time digging the dead past and destroying the present of others? See, is this our life or something higher? And therefore, friends, our scriptures tell us the real scientific art of living is function in the outer world, but take care of your inner world. Don't neglect that. Nobody will come to our help in our life. We have to live our life. We have to die our death. When we become old and if we have some problems, our own children come and they start teaching us wisdom. And that is the most torturous experience for every old man when he has to learn from his own children. When the father becomes angry on something, then the daughter or the grandson comes and tells. Grandson tells, Dadaji, will you please shut up? Whenever you come, there is always a problem. Why don't you go out somewhere? And then that Dadaji gets totally shattered. Is this the position that I have in this house? And then loneliness. And then old things. And then we continue to live in the old age as a formality because we don't have the guts to die. Those who are courageous, they commit suicide. Isn't it? Therefore, the real scientific way of living is live in the outer world, but take care of your mind. And what is taking care of the mind? With every additional experience, be very, very attentive. With every additional experience, we learn. When we learn from every additional experience, we grow wise. If we don't learn from our own life's experiences, we grow old and otherwise. Now decide whether you are a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, whether you are intellectual, whether you are dynamic, whether you are a business person or you are a government servant. That is not important. Important is with whatever you have been blessed by the Lord, what you are today. Are you a burden to yourself or you are an asset for the whole world? And that will be determined only what is the quality of the instrument, the mind that we have cultivated when we have gone through our total life. Like we can't write the balance sheet on the last day in one go. It is a slow development. Day by day it is developed. In the same manner, we have to lead our life keeping in view not the external things alone, but keeping in view what is happening inside. That is called as the real Siddhi. And the remaining portion we will take tomorrow. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.